Your great-grandmother knew something about pest control that modern gardeners have completely forgotten. She never bought a single bottle of pesticide in her life. Her garden produced more food than yours does today. During World War II, synthetic pesticides did not exist for home use. DDT stayed locked in military warehouses until 1945. Gardeners across America and Britain had nothing except methods passed down through generations: companion planting, beneficial insects, crop rotation, physical barriers. These techniques produced an estimated 9 to 10 million tons of vegetables from 20 million American gardens alone. No chemicals, no sprays, no powders, just knowledge that had worked for centuries. After the war, chemical companies told everyone those old methods were primitive and outdated. Within one generation, the knowledge disappeared. The chemical companies were wrong. The old methods actually worked better. Here is what World War II gardeners knew that you have forgotten. Number 1. What victory gardeners actually used. Government publications during World War II taught pest control methods that modern gardeners would recognize as organic. The USDA distributed guides to millions of households. British Ministry of Agriculture pamphlets reached nearly every family with garden space. These publications contained zero references to synthetic pesticides because none existed for civilian use. Instead, the guides taught companion planting, specific plant combinations that protected each other from pest damage. Tomatoes planted with basil because basil repels tomato hornworm. Carrots interplanted with onions because the scents confuse carrot fly and onion fly simultaneously. Cabbage family crops surrounded by aromatic herbs because sage, rosemary, and thyme deter cabbage moths. The guides taught crop rotation, never planting the same family in the same location 2 years consecutively. Pests that overwinter in soil emerge to find their host plants gone. 3 to 4 years without host plants eliminates most soil-dwelling pest populations entirely. The guides taught beneficial insect identification. Ladybugs consume 5,000 aphids in a single lifetime. Lacewing larvae earned the nickname aphid lions for their voracious appetites. Parasitic wasps lay eggs inside pest caterpillars, eliminating them without human intervention. Victory gardeners learned to recognize and protect these allies. Number 2. The science of companion planting. Companion planting works through measurable biological mechanisms that modern research has confirmed. Plants emit volatile organic compounds that affect insect behavior. Some compounds repel pests. Others attract beneficial predators. Strategic placement of specific plants creates invisible barriers that protect vulnerable crops. Basil emits linalool and estragoli, compounds that repel tomato, hornworm, aphids, and whiteflies. Planted alongside tomatoes, basil creates a scent barrier that confuses pests searching for hosts. The tomatoes remain hidden within a cloud of basil volatiles that mask their presence. Onions and carrots protect each other through mutual scent confusion. Carrot fly locates hosts by detecting carrot-specific volatiles. Onion scent overwhelms these signals. Onion fly locates hosts by detecting allium compounds. Carrot scent provides interference. Interplanted rows of each crop receive protection, neither provides alone. Marigolds release alpha-terphenol from their roots into surrounding soil. This compound kills root, not nematodes, that attack tomatoes, peppers, and many other vegetables. French marigolds planted throughout gardens reduce nematode populations below damage thresholds without any visible intervention. Nasturtiums function as trap crops. Aphids prefer nasturtium foliage over virtually any vegetable. Planting nasturtiums sacrificially draws aphids away from food crops. When nasturtiums become infested, removing and destroying them eliminates aphid populations concentrated conveniently in one location. Dill, fennel, and yarrow attract parasitic wasps with their small, clustered flowers. These tiny wasps lay eggs inside pest caterpillars. The larvae consume caterpillars from inside, killing them before they damage crops. One wasp can parasitize dozens of caterpillars across a season. The three sisters planting beans, corn, and squash grown together demonstrates companion complexity. Beans fix nitrogen that feeds corn and squash. Corn provides trellises for bean vines. Squash leaves shade soil, suppressing weeds and retaining moisture. The combined planting confuses pest navigation through structural complexity. Number 3. Beneficial insects as nature's pesticide. Every pest insect has predators that evolved specifically to eat it. These beneficial insects provide pest control services worth billions of dollars annually to agriculture. Victory gardeners understood their value and intentionally cultivated their presence. Ladybugs represent the most recognized beneficial insect. A single ladybug consumes approximately 5,000 aphids during its lifetime. Both adults and larvae are predators. Larvae appear as tiny black and orange alligator-shaped creatures that devour aphids even faster than adults. One ladybug family can eliminate an aphid colony within days. Lacewings provide equally impressive predation. Their larvae, called aphid lions, consume roughly 200 aphids per week each. Adults feed primarily on nectar and pollen, requiring flowers for sustenance. Dill, fennel, cosmos, and yarrow attract adult lacewings that lay eggs throughout gardens. Parasitic wasps include thousands of species, most too small to notice. These tiny wasps lay eggs inside pest caterpillars, aphids, and other insects. The wasp larvae consume hosts from inside, eventually killing them. A single parasitic wasp can eliminate dozens of pests across its brief life. Small flowered plants attract these powerful allies. Ground beetles hunt at night when gardeners sleep. These dark, fast-moving beetles consume slugs, snails, caterpillars, and pest larvae hiding in soil. A single ground beetle eats its body weight in pests nightly. Mulched gardens with ground-level shelter support larger beetle populations. Hoverflies resemble small bees but do not sting. Their larvae rank among the most effective aphid predators. Adults require nectar from flat-topped flower clusters. Queen Anne's lace, yarrow, and fennel attract hoverfly populations that reproduce within garden boundaries. Number 4. Crop rotation breaks pest cycles. Many garden pests overwinter in soil near their host plants. Colorado potato beetle adults burrow into ground beneath potato plants. Cabbage root fly pupae remain in soil where brassicas grew. Carrot fly larvae developed where carrots provided food. These pests emerge in spring, expecting host plants in familiar locations. Crop rotation defeats this strategy entirely. Pests emerge to find their hosts absent. Without food, most cannot travel far enough to locate new plantings. Soil-dwelling pests die without reproducing. 3 to 4 years without host plants in a location eliminates most pest populations completely. Victory Garden guides taught systematic rotation based on plant families. Year 1 planted legumes, such as beans and peas. These plants fixed nitrogen from atmosphere into soil, building fertility. Year 2 planted brassicas, such as cabbage, broccoli, and cauliflower. These heavy feeders consumed nitrogen legumes had provided. Year 3 planted root crops, such as carrots, beets, and turnips. Light feeders that performed well in moderately fertile soil. Year 4 planted fruiting crops, such as tomatoes, peppers, and squash, moderate feeders benefiting from aged fertility. The rotation served dual purposes. Pest cycles broke because host plants moved. Soil fertility balanced because nutrient demands varied. Each family left soil conditions appropriate for the family that followed. Even small victory gardens applied rotation principles. 3-section rotation worked when 4 sections were impossible. 2-section rotation provided significant benefits compared to no rotation. The essential principle was simple. Never plant the same family in the same location 2 consecutive years. Modern gardeners often ignore rotation entirely. Tomatoes grow in favorite sunny spots year after year. Pest and disease pressure builds continuously. Gardeners respond with increasing chemical applications, addressing problems rotation would have prevented. Number 5. Physical barriers and timing strategies. Some victory garden pest control required no biological knowledge whatsoever. Simple physical barriers prevented pest access entirely. Strategic timing avoided peak pest pressure. These methods demanded only observation and planning. Row covers made from cheesecloth or muslin fabric prevented flying pests from reaching crops. Draped over brassicas fabric barriers stopped cabbage moths from laying eggs on leaves. No eggs meant no caterpillars. The fabric allowed light, water, and air passage while excluding insects completely. Cutworm collars protected transplants during their vulnerable establishment period. Paper or cardboard circles wrapped around seedling stems extended 2 inches above and below soil level. Cutworms could not reach stems to sever them. Newspaper worked perfectly for this purpose. Families saved newspapers specifically for collar construction. Board traps exploited slug behavior. Slugs seek daytime shelter under objects touching soil. Boards laid flat collected slugs predictably. Daily flipping revealed congregated slugs for collection and destruction. Simple, effective, and completely free. Beer traps drowned slugs attracted to fermentation scent. Shallow containers sunk to soil level filled with beer or yeast sugar water collected dozens of slugs nightly. Morning collection disposed of dead pests without chemicals. Timing strategies required pest life cycle knowledge that guides provided. Cabbage moth populations peaked in midsummer. Early planted brassicas matured before peak pressure arrived. Squash vine borer adults emerged in early summer. Late planted squash avoided egg laying entirely. Number 6. Why chemicals actually reduced yields. DDT became available to civilians in 1925. Chemical companies marketed aggressively to home gardeners throughout the 1950s. Traditional pest control knowledge disappeared within one generation as families adopted modern methods that seemed easier and more effective. The initial results appeared impressive. Pest populations crashed after applications. Gardens seemed cleaner than ever before. The chemical industry declared victory over garden pests. Then problems emerged that nobody anticipated. Beneficial insects died alongside target pests. Ladybugs, lacewings, parasitic wasps, and ground beetles succumbed to the same chemicals killing aphids and caterpillars. But beneficial populations recovered slowly, while pest populations recovered quickly. Predators require years to rebuild. Pests reproduce within weeks. The pest rebound effect created dependency cycles. First application killed pests and predators. Pest populations exploded when predators remained absent. Second application became necessary sooner than expected. Each cycle destroyed more beneficial insects. Eventually, gardens required continuous chemical intervention to function. Pollinators suffered devastating losses. Bees and butterflies cannot distinguish sprayed flowers from safe ones. Systemic pesticides contaminated pollen and nectar, even when gardeners thought they applied carefully. Pollinator populations collapsed across decades of chemical use, since approximately 75% of food crops require pollination. Reduced pollinator activity directly reduced yields. Soil biology died beneath notice. Beneficial fungi, bacteria, and organisms that support plant health cannot survive pesticide exposure. Plants growing in biologically depleted soil absorb nutrients poorly, regardless of fertilizer application. Weakened plants attract more pests and produce less food. Number 7. Returning to what actually works. Modern research increasingly confirms what victory gardeners knew through practice. The Rodale Institute conducted a 30-year comparison of organic and conventional farming. After a transition period, organic yields matched conventional yields. During drought years, organic yields exceeded conventional by up to 40% because healthy soil retained moisture better. Integrated pest management now dominates agricultural education. IPM principles mirror victory garden methods exactly. Monitor pest populations before acting. Use cultural controls like rotation and companions first. Encourage beneficial insects. Resort to chemical treatment only as last option. Universities that once taught chemical-first approaches now teach the method's wartime guides distributed freely. The pollinator crisis forced recognition of pesticide damage. Wild bee populations declined by 50% since the 1970s. Honeybee colony losses average 30 to 40% annually. Research directly links these losses to neonicotinoid pesticides. Many countries now ban the chemicals most harmful to pollinators. Gardens operating without these chemicals support thriving. Pollinator populations that increase yields through improved pollination. Home gardeners rediscovering organic methods report experiences matching historical records. Pest pressure decreases after 2 to 3 years as beneficial populations rebuild. Soil health improves as biological activity recovers. Plants grown in healthy soil resist pest damage naturally. The transition period requires patience, but the endpoint delivers gardens that function without continuous chemical input. The knowledge never actually disappeared. Organic gardening movements preserved traditional methods throughout chemical-dominated decades. Extension services maintained guides that describe the same techniques victory garden publications taught. Seed companies continued offering companion planting charts. The information remained available for anyone willing to look. 20 million victory gardens operated without synthetic pesticides, and produced 40% of American vegetable consumption. Companion planting protected crops through biological mechanisms. Beneficial insects provided free pest control worth more than any chemical. Crop rotation broke pest cycles without intervention. Physical barriers and timing strategies prevented problems before they began. The chemical revolution that followed the war destroyed these systems and created dependency that reduced yields while increasing costs. Pollinator populations crashed. Beneficial insects vanished. Soil biology died. Pest resistance rendered chemicals increasingly ineffective. The methods that worked in 1943 still work today. Plant basil with tomatoes. Rotate crop families annually. Attract ladybugs and parasitic wasps with flowering plants. Observe your garden daily and intervene precisely where needed. Your great-grandparents grew abundant food without ever purchasing pesticides. You can do the same. What will you plant differently this season?